All right, welcome to the Comic Wrestling Podcast, and there will be no clowning around today. That's right, we're not going to be clowning around, so...
Not at all.
Not at all.
What the fuck, then?
That's the attitude we're looking for. Welcome to the Comic Wrestling Podcast. This is the comic shop. I'm the clerk, the host, the guy with the most. Not really, but whatever. Ace Williams, along with me as always for the ride.
Deadly Dave.
Deadly Dave. And joining us for the very first time, but mentioned many times, the one, the only. Do you want to say your name? Do you want me to?
Go ahead.
The one, the only, no excuses, Buck Barber.
Howdy.
That works. That works. That's
like
his
it.
name. He wanted it. We went with it. I like it. Today clearly we look ridiculous. I mean, this isn't ridiculous. I wore this last time,
It's a little ridiculous, but
but for the occasion, it's appropriate,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
spooky season, bud.
Spooky season, exactly. And we are going to be talking about, because there's smiles and laughs all over it. We're looking like clowns. You can kind of figure maybe what the theme is. We're going to talk. I can't breathe with this on.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
kinda hard.
fucking breathe! We are going to talk about The Joker, the movie The Joker that just came out, directed by Todd Phillips, starring Joaquin Phoenix. And it is a troubled tale of a very troubled man in a very, very troubled world. I went with this little feller to see it. We had I had an awesome time.
I was standing on the edge of my seat.
He
the
really
whole time.
was. He really was. I would look over and you'd be like just inching up each and every little bit closer. But the movie was so intense in such weird ways.
Oh, yeah.
The Deadly One went and saw it the day after we did, so we could have this today.
I felt myself, like, seriously in those seats, like, inching up, like,
Yeah.
as soon as
It's
the
cool.
movie
to stand
progressed,
up.
yeah.
It was a great movie as a movie. It's a great... We're going to go in full detail in, like, a little bit on it, but we kind of always have, like, a rundown of what's new, what's hot. I'm not prepared, as always. I have to go over to my office, because we're not in the office room right now. We're in the... What's that? We call that the Nerd Lounge,
Lounge,
right?
yeah.
This will be the Nerd Den.
Then, ooh.
I know there's a thing out there called Den of Nerds, but this is the Nerd Den.
That's right. We're back.
So, I have ears that don't need to be seen watching you guys talk. So, what do we have going on? Because while you guys are talking, I'm going to go grab my stuff. Anything new and interesting going on?
About...
Anything, like... Any trailers?
We could talk about...
Trailers that we've seen? Anything sports-wise? Anything...
we could talk about Hell in a Cell if you want.
Did you see anything for Hell in a Cell?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, what do you...
Well,
Go with it. Go with what you want
I
to talk about. You're
thought
back.
that match with Bray Wyatt was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, to be honest, the whole pay-per-view in general to me was terrible.
I didn't mind the females match to start the...
But that big cell that's red, it takes away from the entire presentation of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It just... I mean, the match was good, but it just, they don't...
No.
The whole product in general is suffering very badly.
Well, how do you end a match on
Right, how do you say the
disqualification?
match
Yeah,
is
so-
good? You
Yeah.
cannot say that's a good match and then end it on a DQ.
And
That's
I get that they're
awful.
trying to shine up Bray Wyatt and make him, a
This
huge character,
monster.
but they really need to rethink the way they do things because
Right.
it's just horrible.
It is bad. To have the whole fucking match red on top of a red cell, like it blended in with itself too much to where you could see what the hell was going on at times.
And
Right.
who
It's
made
awful.
the decision to bring Jerry Lawler back for commentary should be punched in the throat.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Was it bad? I didn't listen to the commentary. Like I told you, I only saw a cell phone
He's
video.
just he can't make jokes anymore, really,
Right.
because he has
Titties!
nothing, he has nothing to play
Tits!
off of. So
We can do
it's lame. He has no idea about the product. He has no fucking clue what's going on, so he adds nothing to it.
Right.
And again, we're talking about Jerry the King Lawler, not Vince McMahon. Because we don't want that to get a little
Yeah.
skewed. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, easy, love, easy. Get a little ruckus. But that's like really all I saw from Hell in a Cell. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm not too
yeah.
hyped. And...
I fell asleep for most of it.
Which explains the product in general.
Well, when we did the AEW show the other day,
Yep.
we kind of said we don't. Not that we don't, but we're over talking about WWE in the spotlight of like, in the vein of like, this is great. This is what it needs to be. Wrestling needs to be compared to nowadays. You watched a little AEW. I mean, we didn't really pay attention to it,
Yeah, I think I watched like one match or two.
but you were interested enough to be like, I would check that out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a plus in my book for them because they're awesome. They
And
have
it was really
good
cool
shit.
to see the video that they played before the previews yesterday. at the movie theater they played an AEW.
Oh, you said that, yeah. We only got there.
Really?
We only got there for the trailers, not. You know how they show like the TV trailers?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I don't even what
We didn't
trailers.
even get lounge seats, bud.
Oh my god!
Should have waited an extra half hour.
If we waited a half hour, we would have went in the BTX theater. But the movie was great.
It
That
was.
movie was
We're gonna get into it. Fuck, we're gonna get into it. But we can't get around other things first. Trailers though, what? I know they showed some trailers that interested me, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember any of them.
The only ones I remember are Gemini Man and the Ford one with
Ford Ferrari.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Gemini Man. I've heard it's kind of poopy.
And I've seen the trailer so many times it's kind of taken me out of seeing it too.
Will Smith has a dynamic where he can't act with other people. His greatest hits, right,
I
are...
don't think he can act in general.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I get scrutinized for saying that.
He's not.
I think Will Smith's 3 greatest movies are The Men in Black. I think the greatest claim to fame is Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And other than that, you're a fucking flash in the pan to me.
And I Am Legend, he was by himself through the
Exactly. I, Robot. Okay, yeah, you're acting with a voice actor, but you're acting with CGI. You're not.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's just...
Still yourself.
And now Gemini Man. Like, you're acting with somebody in the scene, but it's a motion capture of you. It just doesn't sell for me. I don't...
Right.
His movies are just not for me, so I'm passing on that one.
Yeah,
But
he is well.
speaking of actually Will Smith in a pretty decent amount of movies, because I know you love the Bad Boys movies.
I do.
What do you think of the trailer for the third one?
I think it looks really good. I think I like it looks like they're getting away from the comedy a little bit and trying to make it more of an action movie. So I like that aspect of it.
Now, is that a movie you're going to go see?
I'll probably wait until it comes out on like DVD or something. I don't know if I'll see it in the
I'm
theater.
going to put money on it right now. He's not going to do that. I will put money on it right now. I'll put $1,000 on it. Do you have $1,000?
Not even close.
Do you have
bud.
$1,000 I could borrow so you could lose it?
No, I don't.
Fuck. How do bets work?
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I don't remember the trailers.
I don't remember any of the trailers at all. I was too excited for Joker.
I was very excited for that movie.
And seeing the movie kind of leaves an impression on you, so you forget what you saw before. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
It's true. I mean, but also trailers do have an impression on me. If it's something that truly grips
Yeah,
me, then
right.
I'm on board. But like, they didn't show anything
If
that
I saw a
was.
superhero trailer, I probably would have remembered that. But they didn't, so.
I don't remember anything. Well, I'm gonna say it. I went to, I've been kind of a little bit updated on the podcast of my comic book collection of the Carnage series. I went to the local comic shop called Cooper's Cave the other day, and I asked the young gentleman that's older than me, so he's an older gentleman. It's the guy I think that owns the place, like light blonde, thinning hair.
yeah.
Yeah. I asked him if he had any of the Absolute Carnage comics, and he said, "Well, yes, I just put some new ones down." And then he went to show me where they were, and he's like, "There's these ones." And I said, "Whatever ones I don't have, I'm buying all of them."
Nice.
And he looked at me as a happy store owner as well. Spent $20 on comics yesterday, which is a good deal in my opinion. Remember when I went to Comic-Con? I'm all fucking disheveled here, folks. Went to Comic-Con. I got the first Absolute Carnage comic. I probably showed it to you while you were here, but not
Yeah,
on
you
the
showed it
podcast.
to me.
Since then, I had bought Absolute Carnage number 2. Lethal Protectors, a part of Absolute Carnage number 1. I just picked up part 2 of that. I picked up part 3 of Absolute Carnage. I picked up another part of the Venom Absolute Carnage, and this one that I think is most rad, Absolute Carnage, the Immortal Hulk.
Oh, nice.
It is Venom hunting down the Hulk to consume him to help him fight Carnage.
No, that's fucking
That's
cool.
awesome.
At the end of this comic, it ties into the third one here. It is Hulk standing there consumed by Venom, and it's just the word bubble saying, "We are Venom." Or no, "We are Hulk."
That's fucking
So-
awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Very excited. I can't wait to start reading these. I'm huge into this series. These comics are fan-fucking-tastic. I absolutely am just enthralled by them. So I will be going back there Friday because issue number 4 in the series just came out yesterday. So I'll be going back to the comic book store tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, I'm sorry.
I'm sure he'll be happy to see you walk in.
Oh, I'm sure he'll have it set up. Because I told him, I was like, well, I'll be back when the next one comes out. And there's at least, I have them all written down. There's so many spin-offs in this comic book series. Like I said, there's the main run, that's Absolute Carnage. There's 5 issues in that run. But then there's other shit going on in the world, like the Lethal Protectors are doing their shit. But it's still in the vein of the Absolute Carnage title.
So like what they do on TV.
Yeah, exactly. There's the main thing, but then there's other things that interweave and they tie back in. I love it. I think it's a great read. It's fantastic. But there's like at least 20 fucking comics in this series that aren't the main thread. So I'm out there looking for them. There's one where I don't know what it is, but it's only one of them, just like the Hulk. Absolute Carnage Symbiote, or Absolute Carnage Ghost Rider Symbiote of Vengeance.
Wow.
I'm excited. I want to get that one. Like, that's pretty exciting to me. I think that sounds kind of cool. I've never seen Ghost Rider consumed by a symbiote. I think that'd be a flaming... How do you do that? Because a symbiote's weakness is fire.
Right.
And, fucking Ghost Rider's fucking fire. It's interesting. Interesting shit. But it's a cool comic. I really highly suggest it. I got into it because of Boston Comic Con. Actually, it's kind of ironic. I bought this comic for $15 so I could get this $25 to $30 shirt for free. So, that's how that worked.
Gotta love a good
So
deal.
I look at it as I spent $15 on this and got this for free. Because then I can't justify myself for spending $15 on a comic book. That's fucking absurd. That is absurd. But they have at Cooper's Cave, they have a Punisher comic book. It's a 9.3 grade for like really good like quality, and it's all sealed and certified and everything, and it's signed by Stan Lee.
Oh shit.
How much is it?
I don't know. Too much for me to
It's
ask.
one of those ones they don't put the price on.
Right,
You gotta
because
ask for
if you can't ask for it, then you can't afford it. Like, it's like, you know what? It's better to just come in here and ask. Can I just read it and then leave? But I love my comic books. I could go all day about them. Other than that, I'm sure there's shit that's supposed to be said in this podcast. I don't know. We're not good at this stuff. We're like 30 of these deep, and we still suck. But it's cool, right?
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's different than other ones, you know what I mean? It's not like we have to be the same as everybody else.
Right, we're not like the Joe Rogan experience. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
The beginning, yeah. I know you do.
I do that shit every day.
He just kind of talked to segue. He just talked about the Joker on one of his newest episodes. It was like yesterday, I think it was. Only talked about I only listened to maybe like it was 5 minutes. It was very brief, but he was just pretty much like applauding Joaquin Phoenix's like that shit, man. That's fucking deep.
As are we.
Well, like we're gonna go kind of all over with it with this. I mean, how far are we into this already? We're already only 16 minutes in. We're already gonna just jump right into the fucking movie.
Let's do it.
Because it's gonna... I got shit I gotta do later, so we gotta wrap it up quick at some point. We plan on doing another fun little video. I plan on doing a fun little video before the night's over. Probably something... Patch Adamsy.
With a nose you can't breathe in.
Well... It's true, you can't. So, they put little holes in it, like that's supposed to fucking help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On the sides, yeah. Yep.
Jesus God. So anyways, we're going to get right into the spoiler. First of all, it's going to be a spoiler
Yes.
discussion of... Is it the Joker or is it just Joker?
It's just Joker.
I think it's Joker.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck you all. We're going to talk about the Joker because it's a proper fucking noun.
I agree.
So we're going to talk about the Joker. But before we get in it, I guess there's going to be... I'm going to put a little warning out there because it's going to get a little political talk. I've already told Dave this. Parker, shit! We fucking broke character. Cut, edit, start over.
It's not the first time it's happened.
Okay, ow.
They're not supposed to know my identity, you fuck.
Cancel us. Just cancel us. Buck and I. There's no excuses for what I just did. So Buck and I told him that we're going to talk a little politically about this movie because there are some politics behind this movie. It's not just a popcorn flick. As much as I absolutely adore the Avenger movies, they are popcorn flicks.
I agree.
They have depth to them. They totally do. They have character depth to them. But this movie is 100% based on character depth. It's not based on actions, explosions, end of the world scenarios, who's the villain, who's the hero. It has a perspective you can take from it of who's a villain, who's a hero. Essentially, you could have your own perspective. We're not here to be the judge of that, but it's an interesting movie. I think it's a movie for the ages because it's, like you said, how did you say it earlier? Like, how do you make a movie that, I don't know how you said it.
I would think that,
But it was like mirroring today's society almost.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah.
The villain in this movie is society.
Right.
To me. That's the villain of the movie is society.
Yep, exactly. And it's not a left or a right thing. It's not a left or a right thing in this movie. So that kind of political talk that's not where I want to go.
Okay.
At all. Stay with whatever view you have. If you're a left or a right, Democrat, Republican, or just a downright idiot, which you could be on both sides at that point. That's up to you. We just want to tell you what our perspective is, how we viewed how, like you said, society, people in society, the victims of society, how it's all handled and how it reflects the world we kind of live in today, but also accolade it because it is still a comic book movie. It's not just... It is kind of propaganda piece. It is, kind of.
It is making a statement.
But it's not wrong. I don't want to say propaganda and people throw up a red flag and think, oh, crap.
But that's the word that
Associates.
comes to your mind. Yeah,
Exactly. Because Captain America Winter Soldier was propaganda at that time. The government's watching you. The government control. I mean, it's still going on, but it was heavy at that fucking time. Huge. So we're not going to go down that road either of just bashing that negative. But it's not a negative via propaganda piece. Propaganda is just to get the message out there. Whether you interpret it negatively or not, that is your decision.
Yep.
I'm pretty much on the whole side, though, of thinking we're not all three of us are pretty much thinking the same way in that regards of this is a positive more than a negative in that regard.
Yes, for sure.
So it'll be a friendly discussion, but also it'll spark some interest of probably a little bit of a debate, which I love. Coming from one of your brother's friends who he can't stop debating with people and arguing with them non-fucking stop. Like, that's me. I mean, I love debating with people. So if that happens, it'll be fun. But we want to talk about the movie too as it being fun. So going into the movie called The Joker, or Joker, we're going to go clockwise starting with you. Well, what were your thoughts or anticipations, not on the society part that we just kind of talked about yet, we'll get to that, but like on just the general idea of a Joker movie? What did you anticipate going into it or expect?
I didn't think that he was going to be so dark as he was. I thought he was going to be kind of like comedic, because if I remember right, wasn't he a comedian in the comics?
See, that okay, yeah. That's what I thought too. Like, my only not anticipation, but like idea of, well, okay, because I could go from the '89 Batman, which I was watching when you got here, where Jack Nicholson's version of the Joker is a mobster. He's not a comedian. To get into the mental health real quick, like we said earlier, he's not mentally ill.
Right.
Like all the other Jokers that have been on cinema or TV or whatever you want to label it as. He is mentally ill on the power.
Right.
In the fact of, like, I'm a big gangster. Like, I took out Carl Grissom, and I've got his girl, and you can't kill me. He went maniacally crazy off of power and being insane that way. And yes, his disfigurement, when they show the scene where he's shaking in, like, the dark surgeon's office, like the black mark surgeon. But I think he's just crazy because of the power. Because they don't indicate he had a mental illness prior.
Right.
So that was cool they did that. But yeah, I was going into it thinking he was going to be like a stand-up comedian and just suck.
Right, yeah.
Just suck. Just be like, oh man, my car broke down today. My cat died yesterday. The milk got spoiled. I'm not that funny, but I'll go kill someone.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I mean, maybe not as cartoony as I just illustrated it, but like that's kind of my progression of like his insanity. Not so much like, Jesus Christ, this makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
There were a lot of points that made me uncomfortable. Like,
Right, and we're gonna be all out of context of how we, or actually keep going with what you thought with the movie.
Well, I thought he was gonna be more like happy as a person because the Joker you always thought he was happy. He knew that he was crazy and
just embraced it, kind of happy,
Yeah.
like fuck it, let's just run with it.
Whereas this, they made it like a disease that he had to, or a condition. He didn't say a disease, but it made him laugh when he didn't want to. It was actually
In the worst times, and he could, yeah.
Right.
And you could see it as he's like choking.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding his face down so he can stop laughing. He's crying.
Right.
And it
really surprised me.
Yeah.
That they did that.
Uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah.
But it was weird uncomfortable, and we'll get to that. Because there's moments in that movie where you laugh.
Yeah, nobody else did in the theaters, but we did.
Right, well, and we'll talk about those moments. Because those were uncomfortable moments, but not uncomfortable the way we reacted. Like, if someone saw us, like, why would you laugh during a scene like that? It's like, it's funny because of how fucking awkward that would be.
Right.
And how real that would be if that happened that way.
Right, yeah.
Because I said to you so many times, how are they going to end this scene? Like, how do you just stop this scene? Because it's not a traditional movie where you just say, you fade to the next scene. It's like, no, you're following this guy frame for frame for frame. But, were you... I know you were surprised and you were pleased by the movie, so I really won't even ask you that general question. But, like, exceed expectations with such a twist and turn of who... Not really a twist and turn of who the Joker is, but a different take on where you thought it would go. Are you, like, ecstatic about that? Or are you like, I wish they would have done this instead?
I feel like it's... I don't know, I'm really happy that they went the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it is, like you said, very much similar to Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
Like, it could be where Heath Ledger came from.
It did. It felt like this was a weird origin story to Heath Ledger's Joker.
Right.
I mean, we all know it's not because there are things in there that clearly just separate the two.
Mm-hmm. But
the look, and if you give it, say this took place in 88, I think they said it was, or 87, I don't know what it was, but it was in the 80s. It was in the 80s. So say The Dark Knight, just like hypothetically say that took place 20 years later, okay? You've got Bruce Wayne, Christian Bale, who would be in his 30s as Batman.
Right.
I know Joker would be substantially older. But let's just go with the idea that in this movie he is a rugged 25. I mean, I know they're going for 30.
Yeah.
So let's just try to knock 5 to 10 years off.
Okay.
And then show him as the Heath Ledger version. Boom, now he's full Joker. And then you could throw like a movie in between to show that one little connecting piece to how he gets the scars now. Mm-hmm. And then that's when he dons the purple suit.
Well, like in the movie, like when he does it with his face at the end, you can see
even the makeup.
Yep.
He's got like some of the makeup, and I even said that I was like, I think he's like makeup.
So that's the start of the scars.
It's so cool.
Yeah. He was doing this for a second, and then he took a knife, and I thought he was gonna start cutting his.
You did
mouth.
too. You said that.
Yeah.
And he was doing it so hard in the beginning that you could think maybe he did that when he was laughing so fucking hard. He just ripped his fucking face open.
Yep.
Yeah.
Instead of taking a knife. Like, that could just be a whole disillusion. He could have... It's just so fun to be able to connect a movie like that to this because, like, that's a fun theory just to play around with.
Right.
Because when Batman Begins came out, they ended it on the Joker's card. I instantly thought, I was like, oh man, that's like, this is the prequel to the 89 Batman. I just thought that was kind of cool. And then when they came out with Dark Knight, I was like, oh, okay, that's the way they went. I get it.
Right, yeah.
But, what were your anticipations and, like, expectations going into it? Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean it as a knock, but I do to a certain demographic, but not to you. I'm going to single you out. And people I personally know I'm singling out. But as a movie Joker Batman film guy, how does this rendition go towards you?
I mean, judging by the trailer and all that stuff, I figured it's an exposition movie.
Yep.
It's showing you the origins of the Joker, even for people that know it, but for people that don't know it. That's all I was going in expecting for it to just give me a glimpse or maybe even a full story of who the Joker is and why he is the way he is. That's all I was really going into it as.
Right.
You know.
You weren't like... I mean, I'm trying to ask too. Like, no one's expecting there to be like a Batman thing. Like, nobody's everyone. Both of you were just truly just expecting like just solo Joker.
Yeah.
Okay. That because I was too. Because I feel like anything else would have watered what they were trying to do down. It would have taken away from the Joker. Like, people can say, well, Thomas Wayne is in it. And yeah, it added to the story. It didn't just say it was there for the sake of being there. There was a purpose. It gave purpose of why Bruce Wayne's parents are now dead.
Right.
And also, it's Gotham. You have to mention the Wayne family at some point to me.
Right, because if you completely disengage yourself from it, now I'm a little upset that you're just using the name to get you butts in the seats.
Yep.
Right.
And to have them such prominent characters was really, like, I like that. But without making them seem like they needed to be main characters.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Like De Niro. How many fucking movies can you watch with De Niro in it that he's not in it longer than what he was in this Joker movie, but still had such an impact?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, still. Like, I don't even know.
Like, that could have been just a throwaway character in any other movie, but it had such an impact in this one.
Yep. And to go off of, you know, like the saying of like the origins, of course this is totally an origin story of the Joker. You and I said the other day, like, there's never really been an origin, and then we kind of started figuring out, yeah, there has been a couple origin stories, blah, blah, blah. Because, like, in the Arkham series, they even show flashbacks of him as a stand-up comedian with a red hood and shit. So that is his, like, most basic origin. And that's really as deep as it gets in the comics, really. He's got aliases he uses for certain reasons.
Different ones.
But as close as an origin that I can think of for Joker is Batman 89, with him as a mobster. Jack Napier, already a person before he becomes the Joker. They're already showing you like a half hour of the movie of Jack Napier.
Right.
I don't know what to say anymore. I've winded myself. I guess like if from my expectations of the movie, I wasn't super thrilled about going into seeing it. Like, don't take me to see that movie. But it was like, I'll go see it. It's something. It'll be a good movie, but I'm not like, I wasn't expecting what I got by any means. I don't think anybody on this planet that saw that movie was expecting that movie. But on the other note, a lot of people, critics or reviewers or whatever, say, "Oh my God, it was such a violent movie."
How the fuck was that violent?
Any more violent to like Deadpool?
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close to as violent as some of them.
I mean, psychologically at some points maybe, but not physical violence.
It's like, violent mentally because it is opening up the eye.
It's not even as close to as violent as any of the movies De Niro's ever been in.
Stabbing that dude in the neck with a knife or a pen, Joe Pesci over and over and over in Goodfellas.
Yep.
Seriously.
Like, or maybe it was Casino, one of the two.
Yeah.
I think they're both the same movie.
A Tarantino movie is violent.
You know,
but this is
Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
You shoot my dude's dick off.
Yeah.
There's only a couple scenes in this movie.
The most violent scene is him stabbing the dude in the neck with a knife.
Yeah.
Because you see the most blood there.
I loved that scene.
Right, and we'll go right into it because we're gonna kind of go
terror on the midget's face.
Right, we're gonna be all over around in this movie. There's no playthrough plan. We don't have a draw sheet of how we're gonna do this. We're just gonna
it's so expansive, you really can't.
Right. Well, I know most reviewers have like, I have to start at the beginning of the movie, do it right. We're just gonna go with whatever we can remember.
Off the rails is what we do. So, not those rails. Not those rails.
Yeah, that scene in particular. And to give thread to what we're going to talk about in this scene, previously in the movie, Arthur Fleck, who becomes Joker, has a scene with a guy he works with. He got mugged in the beginning. He didn't even get mugged. He just got beat up in the beginning of the movie. And one of his clown buddies gives him a gun and it's like, hey,
It's like the guy was just trying to get rid of the gun.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
I mean?
Like he found a mark to get rid of the gun.
But he gives the gun to the Arthur Fleck character and for protection and says, "Don't worry about it. We'll catch up on payment later." Some other things happen throughout the movie. Some other events that plague the Arthur Fleck character. Gets back to their boss because what are they? It's an agency of clowns, right? Essentially, hired clowns.
Yeah, it's like a temp agency
for clowns. Yeah. You need them, we got them. I don't know what that was. You can fire me later. So other shit plagues the guy, and like he loses his mother, He loses his job. He's crazy. So he's in his home, dyes his hair. That was an amazing scene. You and I both freaked out when they showed him in the sink dyeing his hair. I just remember jumping up and seeing you squirming too, because it's like. Oh,
and that's another scene where the music hits beautiful. So well. Yeah.
They show him painting his face, and so next thing you know, you hear knock at the door and hello, come in. It wasn't Paul Bearer, but. So these two guys come in, and one of them's the big dude that gave him the gun previously in the movie, and the other one is a midget. I don't remember his name, so we'll just call him. It's politically correct to call them midgets. We'll call him midget. So that's the setup of the scene. Now I'm gonna let you guys play the rest of the scene out.
Well, didn't he say that he was getting talked to by the cops and shit?
Yes, the big guy says that.
Right, so he instantly was like, oh yeah, blah, 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 and then stabs him in the neck.
Well, the little guy was like saying, no, that never happened. We didn't get questioned by that. Like, because the little guy did say that, like, playing it off, like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
Because the big guy said, oh, everybody down at the clown store.
And it really makes, like, Gotham PD look stupid that they can never find him. Like, he's not hard to find. Like, everybody else seems to be able to find this guy, and you can't. That's
not even
stupid.
hiding.
Yeah. But you got to remember, this is in the 80s.
Right.
Where if you think of society, I know this is Gotham, but if you think of society in the 80s in our real world, fucking drugs, sex, and rock and roll in the 80s, nobody's really giving a fuck about nothing. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm thinking of, like, Detroit and New York and Chicago and, like, real inner dark cities like that have a dark tone to them.
But, like, that scene to me is, like, perfect for him because he's tying up loose ends. He's getting even with people that have done him wrong.
Well, that's what we're getting to.
Right.
So, continue.
So, when, like, afterwards, I like how he was just laying there just laying there, and he's like, oh, don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you. And then he's like, you never were mean to me, so you can go. Yeah. And then he's like, can't reach the door. So.
Right, the midget. Yeah. Right, like as you were just saying, he kills the guy because it didn't seem like a setup of some sorts with giving him the gun, like just to get rid of it, and then having. Literally, like, that was too funny not to laugh at, but it was awkward, because, like, what would you do if you were the midget in that situation? Because he's like, oh my god, what the fuck did you do, Arthur? You fucking killed him! And then he comes around the corner, and he's like, oh god, he's still fucking dead.
And for the fear sets in for him, like, not knowing if he's going to
Is he going to do this to me? Right, exactly.
Right.
And then Arthur just looks at him and he goes, well, just don't look at him. Don't look at him. Yeah. And then the midget gets to the door, and he can't reach the lock. And it's not like the lock on the handle, folks. It's the fucking chain lock.
And it shows that the Joker still has some
humanity.
Compassion. Yeah, he's not just a total psychotic person.
Yep.
You know?
Which, I know they weren't ever reaching this point, but if you're a Batman fan, Joker fan, these character fans, doesn't matter specifically, but it allows you in a moment like that to see that he still has sympathy, even though his mother died, and he says to them, I'm celebrating.
He killed his mother.
Right, I'm saying that.
It's
but
cathartic for him, yeah.
Right, yep. But yet, it's like, wow, somebody that, because I'm going to throw two comparisons out there. Wow, he killed, like, his mother, who, she was fucked up, and you find out the truth that he was adopted, and she gave him brain damage, essentially. Mm-hmm. He kills her. Someone that he was so close to, he kills, and then this little midget guy, he lets go, right? Because he was nice to him, and a real nice. It allows me, as a fan of these characters, to believe now, when he gets put in the psych ward, he can have a relationship with Harley Quinn.
Yep.
He can allow himself to get close. Mm-hmm. Now, like I said, I know they're not going to do that. They're not going that route. But as a fan, I love to just believe after I see a movie what could possibly be happening in that world if it was continuing. And just little shit like that allows me to believe he would let himself be open to her now that I've seen him do something like that.
Yep.
And to embrace, at the end of the movie, I'm going to skip real quick, we're going to go back, but to embrace the people that were embracing him at the end. To show, like, because he could have just, like, went nuts and killed him. Because you never knew with that character. He was so fucking... But it's wonderfully crafted character. But yeah, that scene of him trying to get that fucking lock.
I started laughing so hard.
So hard. No one else did.
No.
Nobody else in the... Now, we
quiet.
didn't laugh like assholes.
Right.
Like, I was like, oh my god, like, covering my mouth up.
I did a couple times.
But it's like nobody else even, like, they were like, stone cold, like, damn, like, that's funny for the sake of awkwardness. Right. And you know the director putting that in there knew that was going to be like, well, no one's going to take that serious.
Right.
But they are, but they won't. And even having humor like that in the movie didn't ruin the tone of what it was
not at
portraying.
all.
But I mean, he even came over and fucking, he's like, he starts opening the door and then he closes. He's like, "You're always one of my favorites." And then you just see the little midget run right out of the doorway. I love that. But and another funny moment is they're sitting out front of the hospital after his mother's in the hospital, and
He runs into the door.
yeah, he's like, well, you set it up, you just ruined it.
Well, the cops are trying to interview him on the bench, and he's the funny thing is, to me, is like it showed he had some intelligence, but then he's dumb enough to walk into the door because like he's trying to evade their questions, and he's doing it actually really well, intelligently.
I don't know why the door didn't open up. I feel like that's just faulty system.
It was the exit
Yeah.
door.
Oh, was it?
Yep. Remember the cop was like, "That's the exit."
But still, some of
Oh,
those
I don't
doors
even think- I think I was
open
laughing.
anyways, even if they're an exit, those automatic
Yeah.
doors. So
I didn't even like hear him say that when I was laughing. 'Cause I was like, oh my god, he really just. Like, are you kidding
After
me?
he was such a badass.
Right, it was
Yeah.
so intense because he flicks the cigarette. Like, find out yourself. Like, you fucking.
But it's a
idiot.
great, dynamic where he's so intelligent trying to evade the cops and then just stupid enough to walk into the
And that's
glass door.
Joker shit without him
right.
being Joker. It's brilliant. I loved the movie. I really enjoyed the movie. The scenes, Jesus, the scenes with the girlfriend.
Oh my god, that blew my mind.
How many times did I lean over to you and say this wouldn't fucking be real? Like when
It's
she's
too
making up,
normal for him. It's way too normal of a situation for somebody like that that's had so much go wrong
It's-
in their life.
Right.
that's a good way of looking at it, but I'm looking at it as that's too fucked up for her.
Yeah.
Like nobody in their right mind is with a guy like that, let alone him having normal like.
A single mother to be with a guy
Right.
that's that much of a loser.
But then
you
they
know what I
played
mean?
it up
Like,
so fucking much
They
to where
made
it's
you
like,
believe it.
it's like, all right, I'm accepting that she's with him. Like,
especially
in a
once
world-
you started
bullshit.
gaining confidence, you're like, okay, I could see, where
Yup.
he has the power to,
And then when he's sitting in her apartment, and she comes out, and she's like, "What are you doing in here?" And like, my first thought was, all right, well, she doesn't recognize him because his back's turned,
Right,
and he's all
yeah, I
like
thought that
drenched,
too.
drenched in rain, and she doesn't realize who it is. Dark.
Green hair now.
No,
Or
he
no,
didn't
he didn't
have
dye his hair yet.
No. And I'm like,
getting
yeah,
parts
it's
mixed up.
it's just dark. Like, she doesn't see it's him yet. Like, she just creeped out. Just hyping the tone up of just being creeped. And then, like, when he turns around and she's like, "Oh, you're that.
you're
Yeah,
in the wrong
Arthur."
apartment.
I'm like, the fuck do you mean? You've been showing me they're in a relationship.
Right.
And then, like, they show you the flashbacks and shit, and I'm like, that's nuts. This guy's delusional. Like, he's fucking nuts. Does he kill them?
Yeah, that's one thing. It was like,
Right.
she's the only one that they don't show whether he killed them or not.
Because, not because, but if anybody out there that's watching this, listening to it, knows this answer, I want to know if he killed them. And by them, I mean the child and the mother.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know
That's,
this.
that's a great cliffhanger, though.
Because in a world, like, again, I just think of an expanded world. Think of how fucked up this would be. He kills those people. That's a single mother with a child that nobody they've portrayed that knows that they're there. Nobody's ever going to fucking know that that family's dead
Right.
in that
yeah.
apartment. And that's just another thing. He could be laughing to himself about it someday and just thinking, and someone says, just like at the end of the movie, "What are you laughing at? You wouldn't get it." And he's just picturing the mother and daughter dead in their apartment.
Or it could be that she's something that brought him happiness, and then so he let her live. You
That's
know what
true.
I mean? So
But if that was the case, I would have liked them to show her at the end of the movie.
right,
Like maybe watching the TV show of like him on the late night show and just her like holding her hand.
realizing that he was in the apartment.
Right.
And,
And being like, oh my God, how close could that have been?
Right. Yeah.
That would have been like a cool moment because it leaves it like,
Well, because she did this in the elevator with him, so even that would be like, "Oh, kill me," you know.
right. And then he does that to her. That's what like
Yeah.
scares her. It's like, I'm here to kill you. I don't know. That's a scary message. I'm not sure, but I don't know. For where do you? It's hard to say because it's not a DC movie. It is, but it isn't.
Right.
It's labeled DC. It's got the DC band or brand on it, the logo, the stamp, but this is connected to nothing
So far.
other than our theories of Heath Ledger Joker, which we're like I said, we're gonna be all over with this movie and shit. So in that vein of speaking of Heath Ledger, speaking of all the Jokers, and you can include Jerome and Jeremiah, for sure. Definitely include them. Where do we stand on Jokers for live action from what we've seen? Because I've
All
seen
live
almost
action?
all of them, yeah. And there's a lot more than what you're going to know.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen almost all of them, so I'm not going to label all of them because some of them have only been in like one episode of a TV show. So it's like, I don't really... Like, there's a show, Birds of Prey. It has a flashback. It shows Batman fighting a Joker. There's a guy dressed as the Joker, but it's Mark Hamill doing the voiceover for him.
Oh, really?
So I'm not going to count that kind of shit. But count Mark Hamill.
He's not live action.
Doesn't matter. He's going to be, and you know it. You know he will be. Count Mark Hamill as the Joker because he is the Joker to both of us. Where do we rank, or if we don't want to label it ranking, but like where do we put our Jokers to you? Whoever wants to take the reins of this one, go first.
I mean, for me, as not being the comic book fan and only seeing the movies...
Well, that's all we're going off of.
Okay. I think this is better than Ledger's.
I agree.
You know, it's so much more dynamic than Ledger's.
I agree.
You know, I mean, not that Ledger's was, myopic and just, one-dimensional, but this one has so many dimensions to it.
Because it allows you that. It allows you to be able to go... Because this is a Joker movie, it's not a Batman movie featuring Joker.
And, like, this one shows you why he is who he is. The Ledger one just was like, well, I'm a dog that wouldn't know what to do if I caught a car. You know what I mean?
Why, though?
Yeah, exactly. This one shows
why?
you that.
Did you get molested? Mm-hmm. Did you get the last gumball and then it fell on the ground and you were pissed because it was dirty?
Yep.
Like you said, this is the first one where they actually showed him as a human.
Yeah. You get to see him as a human. And like you said, society is a villain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we are going to get to that still, but like let's, you think this is I think this is the best interpretation of the Joker ever. Hands down ever. It's not my favorite, but I think it's the best incarnation. If somebody that wasn't a comic book fan but was interested in like, oh, the Joker, that's like a cool crazy clown guy, like I want to know more about that. Watch this. Watch this movie and then go start your fucking odyssey of watching all the other Jokers. You can watch them in any order you want. Start with this one. Let you know, or I want you to know what kind of mindset these guys are coming from, because you're never going to get it. And but maybe some people may like that though. Mm-hmm. I like the unknown, but this allows it to be, because it's so realistic. You can't ignore the fact of he fell in chemicals and he came out crazy. It's like, no, this motherfucker got tied to a radiator and beat in the head with something.
And then it just kept evolving. He just kept getting more and more fucked up.
Right.
Yep.
So, okay. So Heath Ledger's... You think this Joker is a better Heath Ledger. Okay. Now, where do you, rank the rest of them, I guess?
I would say this one's number 1, Ledger's number 2, and Nicholson is number 3.
Okay.
From what I've seen.
Okay.
Well... Obviously, Mark Hamill's got to be number 1.
That's what, I knew you wanted. I knew it wouldn't be fair not to throw him in there because I am biased on him too.
But then probably this one, and I think I like Jerome better than Heath Ledger's, but then it would go Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson probably.
Okay, I'm gonna say.
Fuck Jared Leto. Whoever.
Oh yeah, no,
he's not even on the list.
You throw that one in the toilet.
I honestly didn't even want anyone to say his name. Can we edit this out? I would say this is. It's hard because I don't know how to rank him because Mark Hamill will always be the Joker.
Yes.
But I don't think he's the number 1 for how we're labeling them. I would say this one is the number 1 Joker. Because it's so real. Anybody could be this Joker. It's not just a guy that just fell in a chemical bath. Anybody could be this guy. So I would say that. I would say Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Jack Nicholson's, I think, is number 2. Jerome and Jeremiah is whatever one of them. Whatever, the last version of the Joker we got. In Gotham.
Oh, like in the last episode?
Yes.
Yeah, that one was Jeremiah.
Now, I know he didn't do as much as the...
Jerome?
Yeah, but I'm going with that look plus what both brothers collectively did.
Right.
I'm molding him into the one Joker. So that final melted acid Joker would be next. and then Heath Ledger would be my last. No, yeah, Heath Ledger would not be my last. Heath Ledger would be next, and then Cesar Romero would probably be after that.
I didn't even think of that one.
I like him a lot. And the Joker outfit that Joaquin Phoenix is wearing is an homage to Cesar Romero's. It's the maroon with an orange vest underneath, and that's what Cesar wore, which I thought was cool. But it was like an homage to like all the Jokers in a way, which was great. I loved it.
It was really well thought out. They left no stone unturned in that movie, really.
No, it was really cool because even when they revealed that he was stepbrothers with Bruce, but then they revealed he wasn't, it was cool because like those kind of twists just kept you like, oh fuck, really? Oh, okay,
Right.
okay.
Right.
And I liked that. I liked how he confronted Thomas Wayne because it was awkward. I kept thinking like, he's gonna kill him this way, like, and then his mother's just gonna die one day, and he's gonna become an orphan that way. Because it's not the traditional story.
Right. Yeah.
But then it did play out. His parents got.
I think
Exactly
Brett
the
Cullen
same
did
way.
a really good job as Thomas Wayne.
I liked
he
him.
made him look like such an asshole.
Yes.
And just you didn't. Nobody's portrayed him really as that. You know, ever as.
How
a
is
real
he in
asshole.
Titans?
Thomas Wayne?
Yes,
I don't think he's in Titans.
he's in season 2.
Bruce Wayne is in season 2.
You're right. I'm sorry.
You're
You're right. You're right.
Thomas Wayne is dead, bud.
But he's blonde. That's why I was thinking of it.
I don't think he's blind.
He's the guy
He has
from.
gray hair.
Oh, did they give him gray hair?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's the guy he was in Game of Thrones. Mora.
Oh, okay.
Jorah Mormont.
Yeah.
He's playing Bruce Wayne. You're right. So.
He had like a 5-minute
Oh really?
scene, and like they talked to him on the phone for maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Just
sometimes.
enough to say he's in there though.
Yeah.
Like when he punched, Joker in the face and shit. That was fucking amazing.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
That shows you a little glimpse of like that aggressive persistence that Bruce Wayne will someday have as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much the asshole about it, but just the I will defend what the fuck is right. Get away from me kind of personality.
Right, yeah.
I love the characters in this movie. I just thought it was brilliant. It was creepy when he went to Bruce Wayne's house and did the whole
Yeah.
And
that
like
was
they
really-
show Bruce Wayne as just not giving a shit, just like letting a guy
Dead to the
talk
world.
to him, just letting him put his fingers in his mouth and just naive.
and an Alfred. That Alfred was awesome. He was a
Yeah, he was
badass.
pretty
Yep.
And I don't know if he was even credited as Alfred. That has to be Alfred, right? It has to
Yeah, I
has to
couldn't
be.
think of anybody else that it would be.
be. No. So to build on that universe without being like, here they are. It's like, oh fuck! I didn't think Alfred would have been in this. That's kind of cool. That's
Right,
neat.
yeah. I love the dancing that he did all throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Elegant
really
but dark,
Creepy.
freaky. Right? Like, what do you think he's listening to while he's dancing? Is he listening to music? Is he listening to the laughing in his head? Is he listening to the cries of his victims? Like, what the fuck could that guy be dancing about?
And you don't know if it's happy or if it's
Just a
psychotic,
psychotic
break or,
sad. He's just so
Yep.
depressed. I'm just letting my body do what it wants, and I'm fighting it on the inside.
Yep.
It's
And I think him being emaciated and so thin made it.
That was
even
disturbing.
better.
Yeah, that was what made it disturbing, was how thin.
especially
he
the
was.
scene where they just showed him laying back on the couch, and you could just see his ribs and his guts, and it was, and that can't be healthy to do that to your body as an actor. Matthew McConaughey did that with a movie where he had AIDS, and he looked horrible.
Patrick Stewart did it for Logan too, to look frail and everything.
I
He lost a
just
lot of weight
assumed
too.
he looked like that. Yeah, no. But but I'm not saying Patrick Stewart wasn't big and bulky.
No.
But like someone like Matthew McConaughey, he's a sexy stud, image model dude, loses 150 pounds and then gains it all back within like a month. That can't be healthy.
No.
Like, so with Joaquin Phoenix, who's an average build of a dude. I mean, any movie I've ever seen him in, he's got a good build to him. To be this skinny and then literally just see him. I mean, I know the movie was like a year ago and shit, and they finished rapping, but like to see him look like, it's like that doesn't look like the same guy.
Right.
How is that? That can't be healthy for your innards. But
And that's the thing. He didn't look like Joaquin Phoenix. Like it just, if you've seen any of his movies, it's like that can't be the same guy.
no,
You know.
because even now he's carrying himself. He's got slick back hair and it's gray. He's got a like big gray like 5 o'clock beard shadow, and it's just like, God, you are the farthest looking thing from what that character looks like.
Yeah. Yep.
Unbelievable. Complete transition. So when people say Heath Ledger's Joker, oh, he died because he went too crazy into character. No. I believe what the story was, what they put out there was he was sick, had pneumonia or whatever, and was on too many cold medicines or whatever. That happens. It does happen. I can believe it does, but I don't believe for a second he got too far into this character and went nuts and killed himself. Because if that's the case, Joaquin Phoenix would be dead right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This guy
and would have taken some people with him.
If he doesn't go crazy in like 5 years, this guy should just become president for the world. Because he can show that people can go fucking batshit crazy, even if it is a performance. That's like disturbing. There's some kind of psychological.
You had to become that character to do that.
He went into psych wards.
It felt so real.
And studied the people with that condition, whatever that actually is. I don't know what the condition is of the laughing uncontrollably like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he went into like psych wards or mental asylums or whatever and studied it to get. It's like that's gotta fuck with your psyche.
Yep.
Because, and I'm gonna go political people. Wee woo, wee woo. If video games.
Sorry, thought I turned it off.
This fucking clown. If we as society can blame video games on mass shootings and mass hysteria and all these killings of public places, schools, churches, stores, wherever the fuck you want to say it, then why isn't that there's not an influence of studying mental behavior and adapting that mental behavior to your own lifestyle because you become so engulfed in how someone else thinks, acts, or portrays their own lifestyle that you pick up these little mannerisms. Because as humans, if we as children are learning from our adults and picking up these traits of, well, this is how I would do this, and you're around someone so much, you can move from Alabama to New York City and live in Alabama for 15 years and have a thick accent. Move to New York City and live there the rest of your life. Your accent's going to change. It's a proven fact. It's going to change to a New York accent. Maybe not so strong, but it's going to be different enough to where I'm not going to probably be like, oh, you were from Alabama originally? So if you can pick up on those traits, now why isn't there a thing coinciding mental health with the study in which mental health is? Like, say I am studying so much of this guy being crazy, like a Michael Myers character, for instance, that I don't pick these traits up in my own lifestyle of thinking, what he's doing, maybe that is normal. Maybe he does have a perception of reality.
Like pretty much what Harley Quinn was, kind of.
I don't know per se because there's different avenues with that, but he could be. There could be.
That's always the way I thought of it.
Right. There could be that perception, but but why isn't that questioned more often then? Like, because I'm only comparing it to video games are always the blame. Mm-hmm. Well, why isn't other people that are studying mental health that might be taking it a little too far? I'm not saying they're the ones out there shooting it, but there's so many avenues you can point shit at. But with this type of movie, it opens up that door of who really are the crazy ones.
Right.
Yep.
Who really are the crazy people? Is it the people that are standing in the corner talking to themselves? Sure, yeah. They're standing in the corner talking to themselves. But why? Is it because no one listened to them? That nobody else will listen to them to help them with their issues? That the only person they've turned to is the seclusion of their own safety of themselves?
Or they don't have the means to be able to go find somebody to help them.
Exactly.
Right, yep.
Exactly. That's the political talk I like about this movie. Because as somebody that I do believe I have, not mental health issues, but I definitely have my own issues. As such does everybody in their own right. I mean, it's how you want to label it. I think this is a great eye-opener to people to be like, you know, maybe we do take it serious, but maybe we're not taking it as serious. Because the scene that sticks out to me the most is when he has to hand the people cards. This is my condition. I can't help this. Here's a card. That would be so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
I would hate to have to do that in my life.
I feel like most people wouldn't even read it.
They would look at you as a joke.
Or even when she did read it, it still made her she was still
almost even
acting
more.
like, yeah.
Because now she knows he's crazy.
Yep.
Opposed to thinking like, what do you think's so funny? Oh, you're fucked up.
Right.
Okay. Like, and I have a different perception or perspective of it because my mom did work with the mentally disabled for like 15 years. So I saw so many different personality traits through mentally disabled people to where I do sympathize. I absolutely do sympathize, but I'm not... If you're a fucking handicap and you fucking are throttling somebody in public and they just fucking haul off and lay you out, you want to be treated as an equal. I'm going to say that first of all. Where's somebody stopping you from hitting that person? You should not be able to act out in public like this. So I do have, like, I'm on the fence with it. I'm not... There needs to be a limit to accessibility to mental illness and shit like that to the public eye. Just went on a field trip with my daughter the other day. And there are troubled kids. I'm not going to say they're mentally disabled. But there's troubled kids. They're only like 2, 3, and 4. That act out. And you can see it. You got like 5 kids over here that are perfectly content. And then you got 2 or 3 over here that are kicking and screaming. I don't think they should be separated because segregation isn't the answer. But I definitely think there should be more monitorization of those kids because there's 15 kids in the class. 2 or 3 kids start acting out at once. How are those 2 teachers going to be able to handle all 15 of those kids if they all start acting up? Mm-hmm. There's got to be a limit or a monitoring of mental illness and a real serious take on this shit because this movie could happen.
Oh, definitely.
And that's why it's getting this negative effect because the left or the right, whatever side, whoever's the political agendaist in this movement wants it shut down because this could open the eye to, oh my God, this could be a problem because now instead of people turning on each other, they could be like, yeah, man, these fucking people are fucking all of us over.
And like if somebody actually went on a TV show and shot somebody in the head live on TV,
that's going to happen.
And it's not going to be about that. It's going to be, oh, well, this influenced that, or that, it's not going to be about the actual subject. Message. They're going to spin it the way they want it. Yeah, right, it's all going to be about spin it to the way I want it to be perceived. You're right. You know what I mean?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The real message isn't going to get out there. That's the thing.
Exactly, because I could see it now. If it was Conan O'Brien, and I'm using Conan O'Brien, and I'm using the left as an example. My personal belief is aside from this. This is just example. I could see Conan O'Brien, who is a Democrat, who hates Trump. That's your own thing. Good for you. Having Joker on his show, this character, right? And him shooting him. The message the very next day is that the Joker was a Trump supporter.
Yeah, right.
That would be the message. Yeah. It wouldn't be whatever he was saying. It would be washed away, re-edited, cut, chopped, edited the way they needed it. And it would be said he was an extremist. Yep. Gun-toting extremist. Had an arsenal of AR-15s with 1 million rounds in his house. That's not for personal protection. That's how the story would get swayed. Because you're right, it would. It would totally get turned on whatever the narrative needed to be for that time. And it's funny, I just watched an interview with Joaquin Phoenix. He was on Jimmy Kimmel. This was awkward. Someone said from the comments it was a setup, and I hope it was because it was awkward as fuck. Joaquin Phoenix was just on Jimmy Kimmel right after Joker premiered, right? Jimmy Kimmel's like, oh, we got a video clip here of you from behind the scenes of Joker. We're going to play it, and we want your thoughts on it. And I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. And it shows Joaquin Phoenix. It's clearly this scene where he's putting the face paint on and dyeing his hair because it's just, you can see that's what they're filming. And he's sitting there, and I don't know who he's talking to. Some boom. It could be the fucking mic holder. I don't know who he's talking to. But Joaquin Phoenix is like bitching at him, but not in like a dickhead way, but yes, in a dickhead way. But you have to take it as, this is this guy's movie. He's trying to, because he's basically like, yeah, he's basically saying, he's like, I want to fucking get this shit right. You're fucking up my craft right now. Like, just shut the fuck up for a minute.
Not like a Christian Bale just being a douchebag, like.
And after seeing the movie, I am so on his side.
Yep.
It's like, dude, if you fucking would have thrown his fucking vibe off, I'd have killed you myself. I'd have fired you. But, so they play the clip, and then it's just like Joaquin Phoenix just instantly is like, oh man. Like, awkward. Like, I can't believe you just showed that fucking clip of me looking like kind of a douchebag.
Almost like exactly in the movie.
Dude, art imitating life, life imitating art. It's scary because I'm like, I commented, I'm like, what if he pulled out a fucking gun? Like, here he is to promote this movie about a message that you are specifically now pinpointing of the making the fun of somebody that is going through something serious.
Yep.
You're making fun of what the fucking topic is, man. Like, that is hypocrisy. Or, I don't know if it's hypocrisy, but it's irony.
Mm-hmm.
It's ironic as fuck. But that's sick, though, if that wasn't a work. And if that wasn't a fucking a to-do of like, hey, you know, it'd be funny if we made fun of. If it wasn't meant to be that way, and it was meant to kind of make Joaquin Phoenix look like an asshole and try to push that agenda, because I don't know what side Kimmel's on. I don't know if he's left or right. I don't pay attention to celebrity politics. I only stick to what I believe in. But whatever that was trying to help, I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? How do you do that? Like, you just saw Robert De Niro as a late night host get shot in the head.
Right.
Jimmy Kimmel, what are you doing?
Yep.
That was nuts. I couldn't believe I saw that. Like, it was real.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I would never have taken that risk. I'd have been terrified.
Especially when you know that guy dives as deep into his characters as he does. You know what I mean?
And I like Jimmy Kimmel. I think he's funny, but like most late night shows, they are assholes to try to get ratings.
Oh, yeah.
They will be a complete douchebag for the sake of trying to get a good moment, trying to get over, trying to get a spontaneous reaction, anything. And I think that if it wasn't discussed beforehand, I think that's a dirty fucking thing to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm. It's a scary thing to do.
Like, I just saw Robert Downey Jr. on Howard Stern. I think it was yesterday. And Howard Stern is trying to get Robert, he's not doing it as an asshole because it's Howard Stern. He's a shock jock. It comes with the territory. But he's trying to get RDJ to talk shit about Martin Scorsese. Because Martin Scorsese just came out and said comic book movies are not films. Which, if it's on a reel, or if it's a digital film, if it's a movie, if it's in cinema, it's a film, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right? I mean, it's a movie, it's a film. So there's been a lot of scrutiny over that of like... But that's also, in my opinion, of Martin Scorsese being pissy because, like, movies like his aren't
making any money.
But here's the Joker.
Yeah.
That's a Martin Scorsese fucking produced movie, I'm pretty sure. Like, I told you, Martin Scorsese's the guy that brought to Warner Brothers Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix to do this Joker movie. And when you watch this, it has the feel of Goodfellas. It has the feel of Taxi Driver and shit like that to it. Like a real, in-depth documentary, autobiography, one-on-one, like the movie The Wrestler.
Yep.
No, that movie was good.
It's like the movie like The Wrestler. You're following this guy through an awful yet beautiful story.
Mm-hmm.
For the sake of that, like, I hope he's eating his fucking shoes, like, because this movie's brilliant.
And it didn't. I mean, it was a slow movie, but it wasn't a
Boring.
bad slow. No, it was not a bad slow at all.
No, and the most. I mean, there were some good action scenes, honestly.
Yeah.
There really were. The train, the whole last third act was great.
Yep.
The whole third act was brilliant. From him, like, leaving his apartment, the dancing, getting chased, and then finally getting to the studio. And then it's just like, that just all went.
Laughing while he's being chased.
It's brilliant. I loved it. But, I mean, it's just, I forgot, like, the main point, what I was going to say right there, I think.
Good one.
I don't know. The movie was just fucking sheer brilliance.
I liked too when he was painting his face, like he painted his tongue too, just
to
to
show how
something
fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was. I was like, what the fuck?
Are there any, like, I mean, we kind of are all over with this movie, but anything that, like, jumps out that of the movie itself, like any specific thing? Oh, the ending of the movie, the action scenes. That's what I was saying. That's what I want to say. Like the scene when they're on the train, even though it's not guns blazing, car chasing, burning buildings, this movie is so intense that is what the action is. The intensity is the action. Of never knowing what's going to happen, that's when it's the most fun.
Right, yeah.
Like, being on the train and getting all the Joker clown guys to riot and the cop shoots the one and then and he just slinks away and he does the little dance as he runs off. It's like, Yes, that was a great action scene.
Yeah, it's not like a John Wick movie where it's choreographed. This looks like it was a documentary, and it was just they were just following this guy, and life was just happening.
Yep.
You know?
Because even, what was like the biggest? Yeah, I consider it like maybe the biggest action scene in the movie is when he goes to the riot, and you got all the people in it. That felt like a Dark Knight Rises moment.
Yeah.
Where it was just like the city's just fucking turning on itself. That was intense for me because it was like my anxiety was going only because like if I was the Joker in that moment, I would be feeling the same way he felt. I would be smiling. I would be elated with what I just did. Because I'm a villain at heart. I know I'd be a sick fuck like that if I was that far to the curb.
Right.
And I embrace that because, I mean, not that I want to see like mass hysteria, but in comics or a movie or a cartoon or a video game, I don't care if it's the villain or not, or if you're rooting for the hero. When shit starts to go down, you get excited.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Whether or not you agree or disagree with the villain, when Heath Ledger blew up that hospital, you were like, that was fucking sick.
And I was laughing too.
Right. See,
when Harvey Dent's blowing people away. Or,
Yeah.
right. We're all cynical. We all have that little disturbed, okay, I shouldn't smile in public when I do this, but I can't help it. Like, I love that.
Or when somebody slips and falls and busts their ass, you don't want to laugh, or people don't think you should laugh, but you do, you know.
Yeah.
I gotta give a prime example of that because it's so fucking funny. You gave exactly. Going into court one time, and my daughter has a law guardian, as all children do when you go through family court. This guy is an old fuck that doesn't know this hand from that hand from my hands or your hands. Like, he's just a dumb shit.
He doesn't listen, it's all good.
Exactly. Well, no, it gets better because apparently he doesn't fucking look either. Walking into court, not literally, we weren't in the building, but we were walking on the sidewalk. I'm walking this way, he's walking at me. There is a construction sign on a tripod that it just probably said, I don't know what it would have said because it wasn't road work. They must have just fixing the sidewalk. So whatever the fuck the orange sign said, doesn't matter. Now I'm like looking at him. We make eye contact, and in my head I'm thinking, fuck, I don't like this guy. We're both at the same goddamn pace. We're gonna come at the same, and I'm gonna have to talk to him. I don't really want to. You know, going there. Already beat myself up. Literally, we're walking like this. We're at the same pace, and he trips right over one of the legs of the tripod and just eats asphalt. I start laughing immediately, and then I feel like an asshole because someone behind me comes running up to save the day, and it's like, really? Someone behind me had to come help him? Like there was someone,
like a
there was someone further behind me,
What's wrong with you, bro?
and then I have to go into court with this guy? But the trip and fall, like, yeah, but, so we're in court, and he goes, yeah, I fell outside, and I'm, like, snickering to myself, like, yeah, it was so fucking funny. And he goes, I have laser eye surgery later today, so I'm okay. It's like, later? You should have booked it sooner, guy, because you're already fucking falling. But, like, why did we talk about trip and fall again?
I don't even remember.
You said something
said
about
trip
slip
and
and
fall.
falling.
Oh.
But I don't remember why we said that.
I don't know. This movie in general.
Yeah.
This movie in general is a discussion to the mind of how we all label society, like how mental illness is looked at, how it's not treated or how it should be treated. I'm not one to really say, because I'm on the fence with everything. I try to look at everything, both sides, whether it's like gun control. Okay, you're going to say video games again are the reasons, and why are you going to get rid of games in stores and yet still sell guns? The guns are killing people, not the games.
That's like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
well, if the guns are the bad thing, then why are you selling toy guns too?
Right.
You know, what is the message is that sending? You can't buy the video game with the gun in it, but you can buy a Nerf gun, or
Right,
you know,
yep.
you can buy Army Men and all that shit. Like, you know.
And then the sad thing is, because we'll go on that topic of back when all of us were kids, even when our parents were kids, what kind of toy guns did we all have?
Black that look exactly like the regular guns.
I had like ray guns.
I'm fucking talking about cap guns, guys.
Oh yeah.
Black.
I had a cap gun.
What kind of zoos are we going to?
zoos.
I'm talking about cap guns.
Yeah.
I mean, we all had toy guns, of course, but I'm saying like a cap gun. And what would you do with a cap gun? You would pretend like you're shooting people with it because it would make a sound. That generation didn't grow up murdering people. It's the mentally unstable young generation, like kind of like your generation.
It's my generation.
It is your generation. And then some, wherever it goes from there. And I'm not saying my generation didn't have Looney Tunes. Yours didn't. They all did. But the mass hysteria of what is surrounding is so out of proportion now more than ever.
And that hysteria fuels people that will act before that wouldn't act without that hysteria.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I can understand a video game giving you, like a GTA, giving you the sense of... Because I'm that guy. I just got killed. I'm going to get out of the hospital. I put all my cheat codes in. I got my rocket launcher. I'm going to go stand in the middle of the street. I'm going to stand in front of cars. I'm going to let them pile up. And I'm going to shoot them with a rocket launcher. And I'm going to blow up a bunch of cars like a domino effect.
So much fun.
Right! But that doesn't give me the fucking feel that I want to go out and do this because, one, I can't. It's so hard to get a bazooka nowadays. Jesus Christ, it's hard.
But even if you could,
I'm on the waiting list. Amazon, God, you guys suck.
Get your drone and give me my goddamn bazooka.
Right, absolutely. But it gives you that sense of reality. Like, oh, okay, that's a car blowing up. That's all it gives you. It's not giving you the sense of you're going to die, you're going to go to jail, there's ramifications for what you're doing. So people that have that disillusion of that disbelief of, well, I'll just run away and get 5 stars and just keep running. They'll never catch me. There's consequences for that shit. And if you are so out of your mind to think that there's not going to be, or if your end result is, I'm going to shoot this place up and then kill myself, that's something far more beyond a video game or a movie or TV or...
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's something like the Joker there. There's something, you were tied to a radiator. You were beat with a box of candles or something. I don't know.
And as you grew, you found out more fucked up stuff about yourself. And
you
it just fueled your
And you
psychosis.
didn't have a curve to fix it. You embraced it. You didn't... Dexter. Have you ever watched Dexter?
I have not.
Dexter's so good. It's about this guy who... Literally, he's born in blood. Like, his mother is murdered right in front of him. She's chopped up with a chainsaw when he's like 3, covered in blood. Right. The cops find him in a shipping container, covered in blood. They rescue him. The cop adopts him. The son, it's a son, grows up with these murdering tendencies. Like, he's the kid that's killing the cat. But he's not doing it because, like, I'm crazy. He has this unfortunate mental decomposition that he got from seeing his mother be killed like that in his mind, where it's a necessity to have to kill something. So in that show, his dad, being a cop, knows this and teaches him, I know you're going to have to do this. I have to teach you how not to do this. And in doing so, he still does it. But his dad teaches him, if you're going to do it, we need to do it the right way. So he becomes a crime scene investigator, blood spatter analyst, so he can cover up his own tracks. He knows how to do it. He becomes super intelligent. His dad eventually passes away. But the mental disorder of he always sees his dad at like the crime scenes of what he's doing. There's a psychological disorder there. That
kind of like Batman video game with
yes.
Joker.
Yep, exactly like that. His dad's trying to be the voice of reason still, but he's like, I got to do this. I can't. But he's killing murderers. And it's like a whole slew of, there's a whole bunch of shit in between. But it's that, it's the fucked up, it's like he's doing it, like he's a good guy, but he's a bad guy. He's mentally unstable. He's killing the right people, but he shouldn't be killing anybody at all.
Right.
And he's just born into that lifestyle of mentally... He wasn't like the Joker and had a mental, like, physical problem. He didn't fall into chemicals, or he didn't get hooked up to batteries and electrocuted and shock therapy and made him fucked up. He just visually saw something he could never get rid of that mentally scarred him.
Right.
It's an amazing show. It's an amazing show. Except for the last season. It's stupid. It's really dumb.
There was one thing I wanted to mention before I forget.
Yeah.
The last visit of him, the Joker, with the social worker.
Yes.
To me, that scene is so potent because he's trying to get help, and he realizes that she's never ever listened to him, and you can see that he's intelligent, but he also is trying to get help, and he really can't get help because nobody is helping him, and she's just, she's like, oh well, nobody ever gives a fuck about me, nobody gives a fuck about you.
The last scene of the movie. Is what you're talking about, like when he's getting in the...
No, when he's with the social worker.
Oh, when they tell him the budget's cut.
Yeah,
and shit.
and he's trying to get help, and then he realizes to himself, "You've never been trying to help me. You've never listened to me." I think that's a great scene to just show.
Well, it is a great scene, and that's why I want people to see it, because that scene specifically is perfect. That's not a new message.
Yep.
Millions of people that are in social working cases, that are in therapy, that are in this kind of shit, those people most of them are just there to get paid. And a lot of people are there that truly need this help, that are just, because I've been there. I have been there. I'm in parenting apart classes right now because of the court that I'm in. I've been through it before, and they have this thing. It's called the I messages, of using like I statements. Like, so say you and I have an issue, I wouldn't say, "You are an asshole. Why do you always do this?" I would say it as, I get kind of upset when things like this happen. Do you think we could kind of figure out a way to avoid this? That doesn't work in the real world. Not in my real world. Because when I've tried to use this, it always gets turned around. Why is it always about you? Because now you're saying I, which you're being told in therapy or whatever, however you're being progressed or whatever, to use these I statements to let them know how you're feeling. If you're dealing with somebody that's an asshole or narcissistic or just doesn't care, if they feel like you're saying I, it's going to turn them off of that, and they're going to say, well, why is it about you? Well, right. I feel like this then. It is. It's I don't want to say therapy's a lost cause, because it's not, but it questions. It makes me question it as well, because I've been there.
But there are people that are legitimately trying to help people, but not enough of them,
And just like in the movie, fundings. That shit does happen all the time. When I was in this one class session, we had this one guy. He was amazing. And I don't open up to many people on a personal level like I did him. But it was therapeutic. And then the last 3 sessions, he says to everybody, like, well, I'm going to be retiring, and they're going to be bringing in 2 new counselors, essentially. And it was just, you could tell they weren't there on the same level he was.
Right.
And my whole demeanor was different. I was like, fuck this.
Right.
Fuck this. I don't even want to do this. And it's so true. Like, that's why I personally love this movie with its message, because I am somebody that does have these conflicting ideologies and thoughts, that I think this is just a brilliant statement to society, and not in a negative way. Yeah. I can see where people can get negative of, well, he's crazy and he just murdered people, and that's just the message, like, that all crazies are going to do that.
No.
I get the sentiment that yes, all crazies could be that way, but if we're going to do that, then all blacks are the N-word. Then all men are sexist, misogynistic pieces of shit. Then all women are man-eating whores, right? We can't do that with those, so why are we going to label crazies? Because crazies could be just a mentally disabled person that's got Down syndrome.
Right.
Yep.
Unless you're talking about the movie The Crazies, where those motherfuckers were nuts and, like, just killing people with pitchforks.
But, like, now, like, when I was a kid, people that were labeled crazy were on a separate bus.
Yeah.
They left earlier than everybody else. Now you can't do that anymore.
Right.
You can't put them on a separate bus. You have to have them with the other children.
But yet there's still that group or whatever that wants to push that shit to the side. And I think those are the people that are hating this shit now, this movie. Which, box office, I always talk about numbers when I talk about these movies. Venom last year in October had the largest opening of any movie in October history of like $80 million or something like that. Joker just surpassed that in 4 days of like $100 million. It's crazy how this speaks volumes. I want to say people are going to see a movie because it's Joker, for one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot more butts are going to be in seats because of what this movie actually is.
Yep.
When are you going to see it again?
Friday.
When am I going to see it again?
Friday.
Friday. When are you going to see it again if you are?
I'll probably go see it again Tuesday. You know,
I
here on my days off.
And this wasn't something we're all saying we're going to go see it again so we can come back and have another roundtable discussion. This is because I truly want to see it. You truly want to see it. You want to see it again.
I do.
It just was a fucking phenomenal
I want to
movie.
see it for the message. I also want to see anything that I missed, anything that would add to that character, to the story, and you know, all of it.
Right. I don't know what kind of Easter eggs are in it.
Right.
If there even are, because I mean, they pretty much showed you what I feel like they wanted to Easter egg wise. Like here's Arkham. I don't know if it was Asylum, but it was just a hospital.
It's a state hospital.
Yeah,
Arkham State Hospital.
So it could be Asylum if you wanted it to label it that way. Either way, I'm cool that it's there. They showed. They didn't need to show like a Wayne Tower or nothing because you had the Waynes in it.
I think a lot of like maybe the storefronts and stuff in the city might have Easter eggs.
Right, I was looking at little stuff like that myself. Cool little Easter egg I do want to mention. Not Joker, but Spider-Man: Far From Home. I know we did the review on it and everything.
Yep.
But there's cool little Easter eggs in the movie if you go back and you really rewatch it and you pay attention to some of the scenes when they're in Venice, Italy. You will see not only Jake Gyllenhaal, but you will see some of his lackeys lingering in the background when the kids are like.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Really.
There's one scene specifically I will say where. What's her name? Zendaya, MJ, is doing something. I think she's like standing in like a circle. Well, that's
Thanos likes that
it's
one.
the end of the show, folks. That's our producer saying wrap it up. She's like standing in like the middle of like a circle, and she's like covered in pigeons, I think. And Peter Parker, and it's like a montage moment. Like there's no dialogue. It's just like fun music playing. And she's like, oh, fucking birds! And people are taking pictures, and Peter's just kind of looking at her like, you know, in love. And in the scene, while Peter's looking at her, there's a guy, you know, you don't look at him, you can't see him, but he's got his hat on like this. You just see the back of his head. It's a blue hat, and he turns like this, and he's looking right out of the corner of his eyes at Peter, and then Peter just turns, and it's like a second. As soon as Peter turns, the scene ends. But if you freeze frame it right on that moment, it's Jake Gyllenhaal. And I'm like, oh man, it's like they were throughout the whole movie. Like, I love that shit. Like, those are the Easter eggs I love. So, yeah, you know, whatever. Off of Spider-Man.
I really enjoyed De Niro's character too.
I did too.
Yes.
He had a lot of fun with it, you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he did the little bop, bop, bop to the music when they played him out. I was like, that's like a late night show host right there. Like, that's like a fucking David Letterman, like Johnny Carson kind of deal. And I thought that was great. To have him as like again, whatever your perception is of the villain in this movie, I think the Joker's the hero because he truly gets the message across. Totally wrong way. But sometimes it takes an extreme, right? Does it not?
It does.
Look at war.
Yep.
We wouldn't have wars if it wasn't an extreme to get a message across.
Right.
There wouldn't be wars against religions if someone wasn't trying to get their message across. So sometimes it has to happen. Look at us. Here we are on this podcast. It took an extreme to get our message across. We had to be in your fucking house. We had to come to you. And what did that one guy say on Facebook? We had to violate your personal space.
Yeah.
So
by our ad coming up on his Facebook, that one of thousands of ads that are probably on his Facebook.
And instead of doing this,
you
I hate this ad. Let me stop.
You actually watched the video, yeah.
So, but I digress. But it was great to see that late night show protagonist or antagonist against him, because I didn't know at first if he was literally making fun of him or not. Or if he was like genuinely like, hey, you got a lot of buzz. I'll bring you on the show,
right? And
we'll actually see what comes of it. Because when he asked him about the face paint, it wasn't like he could have been a complete asshole to him.
Yeah, the producer was more of an asshole than he was.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Because even De Niro was like, "Oh no, it's cool. He can call me Murray."
Yeah, you want to be Joker? It's fine. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I do like De Niro's character. I like that he's a good guy. He just was the antagonist to this topic.
Yep.
Now, I'm trying to get you to watch the Dark Knight Returns movies. Read the comics. Buy the comics. You watch them, read them. I don't give a fuck. But that late night show segment is based on the Dark Knight Returns cartoon, movie, comic, whatever one you check out, where Joker is in it might be an insane asylum. It's not Arkham, but he's in like a rehabilitated psych ward, essentially. Through the first movie, they show him periodically through the movie sitting in the psych ward, always constantly watching the news with this specific like psychiatrist on there and a late night show. Those are the two shows he's always watching. So that's the first movie, and by the end of it, Batman comes back through out of retirement, and you see Joker like scratching the chair and his like eyes twitching and he smiles. So you know, okay, they're gonna do a sequel. Joker's gonna be the villain. In that, they also based Batman vs Superman. I told you that earlier, off of the Dark Knight Returns, because Batman and Superman fight each other in that, which it's so weird that it has Joker and Batman fighting each other, and then by the end of it, it's Superman and Batman fighting each other. But it's cool. It's really sweet. But Joker goes on this, he gets all rehabilitated. He's completely like, he's still the Joker. He wears instead of wearing purple, it's the only Funko of the Joker I have. Like, every Joker you're ever going to see essentially is in purple. Mm-hmm. I mean, even Joaquin Phoenix's is in like a maroon. Close enough. But this Joker is in a full white tuxedo, full white face paint with just dark around his eyes, red thin lips, and like maybe purple eyeshadow and just like neon green hair. And he's big. He's like kind of bulky, like he could fight. But he's all rehabilitated, and the psychiatrist, he reaches out to him, and the psychiatrist wants to bring him on the late night show and show, look what Batman has done. Batman is the real crazy one, because if Joker can be rehabilitated, why couldn't the Batman do it? And Joker's on the show, and it was just a big ploy, and Joker, like I told you, I was waiting for him to grab the mug and smash it and just jab De Niro in the throat with it, because that's what he does in the cartoon.
Right.
Smashes the fucking mug and just jabs him in the throat with the fucking handle and just slits his throat. And then just, like, I don't know if he kills everybody in the theater, but he goes on this mass killing spree, escapes the studio, goes to this fun theme park, and literally, it's probably like a 10-minute clip of Joker just running through a theme park, just shooting people down in the theme park. He runs in the Tunnel of Love, shoots people that are like making out and kissing and just laughing the whole way through it. And it's just like, oh my god, this guy's delusional. This is sick. And that's what this Joker was that, like, he's cool. Oh, he's not really cool, calm, and collective, but he's not as crazy as you think. It's like, holy god, I thought I had a clue. But I love that scene, the whole ending. And then he getting up and grabbing the camera and talking into it like the Joker would.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant shit. Brilliant shit.
I loved when Jerome did that in Gotham.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. That was one of my favorite scenes of Gotham.
They gave him the best Joker storylines. Jerome
yeah.
and Jeremiah, and both of them collectively.
Mm-hmm.
They had the best Joker arcs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, coming from this namby-pamby kid in the first season to getting the scars, the slow progression. Mm-hmm. It was, oh my god, beautiful.
Yep.
It's almost like I'm glad they did it that way and he wasn't a full-fledged character like
They never once called him Joker.
They couldn't.
No, I know, but
I wanted at the end when he's like, when Gordon's there and he's like, you can call me Jay, James, Jimmy. Nah. I wanted to be like, Mr. J. And then just end it there. They're like, okay, Mr. J. He's never going to be known as the Joker. He'll just always be like, Mr. J's on the loose again. I'm okay with that.
right.
It just... Now, what did you guys think of how they ended it, the movie?
With the psychiatrist scene?
Yeah, like that. Do you think... Yeah, just go with that. What do you think of that?
Well, trying to remember it. That was
Okay.
like the least remember it.
Where they show him finally stand up on the top of the car and he's dancing.
Oh, that scene.
And then it fades to black. And it's like, okay, that could have been the end of the movie. But then they show him the close up and he's laughing. And there's a new psychiatrist and she's like asking, oh, what's so funny? And as he's saying, you wouldn't understand it. They show you.
And then the music plays that's life. And
well, they show you the video, or not the video, the picture of the Waynes gunned down in the street. So obviously he's imaging. Thomas and Martha Wayne are dead, and there's a little boy that's got to deal with it, and I think that's fucking funny. I like that kind of ending because that's sick.
And I'm pretty sure he kills her.
I think so too. He's got the
Because
blood
he's
on
his
his
shoes and
Dancing around all handcuffed.
Yeah, right. And I mean, then he's running away from the orderly at the end, like
orderlies,
very Joker-like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like very okay, he's finally snapped. He's having fun with it. Like I still think the scene where he's dancing down the stairs with a cigarette is going to be that's the scene that stands out to me. Like when I watch the Dark Knight movie, the Joker scene that stands out to me that I absolutely can't get enough of, and it's only 13 seconds, is when he gets broken out of jail and he's riding with his head out the window
like a dog. Yeah.
I want that to last.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to just, when he's done doing that, just hold a gun out and just open fire on the public. Just because it's such of he won moment.
Mm-hmm.
He won. And I felt that way when Joaquin Phoenix was dancing down the stairs. It was he's embracing it. He won. He's the Joker, without getting to the final moment of the movie with him saying Joker. But, do you think that was a good ending? Do you think it...
I think it left some room.
Oh,
To
absolutely.
make a second one for sure.
No, okay.
Maybe not called Joker, but continuing on from that story.
I don't know what you would give a title for it, because I've been trying to think too, but I have an idea for a sequel I told you about. What do you think of the ending? Do you think it justified that movie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Because I was worried they were going to kill him, and it'd be he's the idea of the Joker, like Jerome was.
No, I thought it was a great way to end it. It showed how he's progressed and how, and that's a great way to... He's embraced it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? At the end of it, he's embraced that stuff makes him laugh, and
I'm finally happy.
Yep.
Because he said to a psychiatrist, I've never had a happy day in my life. Or his mother, whoever said it to.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, when you see him... you saw him kind of elated and excited when he was doing all of the horrific events. But once he realized people were embracing him and actually there, and he wasn't envisioning an audience applauding him, and he's the center of attention, I took away from that as he's happy. He found his joy in other people's sorrow. And that's fucked up, but that's a world we live in as well.
Yep.
It absolutely is in a world we live in as well. Sequel. Would you want to see a sequel?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
But what does that... I'm going to go in fucking hard with the story I got for a sequel. But, what would you guys want in a sequel, or how would you go about it?
I don't really know. It's so... it wouldn't be a Joker movie, the sequel wouldn't be. It'd probably have to be more of a... I don't even know. You would have to have a bad guy eventually. Or a good... Well, it would be a bad guy for this movie, but a good guy for society, I guess.
I think you could show, clips of this Joker, what he did, and have that influence the new villain.
Right.
You know what I mean? Say, this is what made me, want to do this, and then you show Bruce Wayne becoming Batman.
No, not at all. Fuck Bruce Wayne.
This is what the Dark Knight was, or what, I don't know how I want to say it. Christian Bale had the Dark Knight trilogy, which was a chronicling of Batman. I want a Joker, if not so much trilogy, but I want a Joker story that I don't want to have... how Suicide Squad barely had Batman in it, even though it was a Batman universe with all those fucking characters.
Mm-hmm.
I want a Joker movie with no Batman in it. Because if we have Batman, we got to go 20 years in the future now.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying with Batman, that's why...
No, I'm just saying, me personally, I don't want a Batman, because I have a hero already in mind. Because how I would do it, I would love because this movie it opens up the door of the mental illness. The mental illness, baby.
No.
Dustin Rose is here to talk to you about the jokers and the clowns, daddy, suck a dick. What? See, shit's is crazy. So I would love it. You have a movie that opened the door to mental illness. Now it's out there. Like your sequel can be the Joker still, completely Joker still. I don't know what you would do with him character-wise. Like, yes, you could show people flocking to him and him making like a gang or something. Yes, you can have an inspiration, show somebody else maybe there. But show what society now does with that information. How do we go about that? Do we still keep ignoring it? Do we try to actually help it? Can you actually help it? Or is it just the way the world has to be? Do we need the yin to that yang? Can one be one without the other? Like, I want to go in depth. And your good guy or your bad guy, however you look at it, can be Jim Gordon. Bring in this rookie cop with the name Jim Gordon, with no aspirations of pushing him to be commissioner.
With Harvey Bullock. Probably.
Well,
have to be both of them.
You could do that, but the thing is, these guys wouldn't be main characters. They would be a Thomas Wayne.
Right.
They would be the Robert De Niro. Maybe 15 minutes total in a 2-hour movie. Because that's probably what De Niro had, was 15 minutes. So to be characters like that are pursuing this crazy man in a crazy world, but you're not focusing on Gotham.
Right.
Like if they made a Jerome spin-off show, and every now and then Gordon and Bullock were there, just to let you know they're still in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You could show Bruce Wayne, because you could show Joker still wanting to fuck with a younger Bruce Wayne to make his life more hell than it already is. And that could drive Bruce Wayne's younger self to, at some point, you see a news, like Joker's sitting there in like an apartment, and you just see like a TV's watching it, and it says in the news, it says, billionaire abandoned child, however you want to label it, leaves Gotham City, make up the excuse, but the Joker knows it's because of me.
Right.
So eventually when Batman comes back, it's because that motherfucker Joker. It's not because of Riddler. It's not because of Killer Croc, the Penguin, Clayface. It's because my arch nemesis, the Joker, fucks with me and has ruined my life. And look what he's done to society now. Mm-hmm. That could be your third movie.
Okay.
I mean,
because this is a bioptic, like, in-depth. This is not a superhero movie. I mean, it is, because it's labeled that. But it's not. I don't want, like, the hard thing is I don't want to see Batman with gadgets and shit. Because then at that point I'm thinking, like, well, alright, now Joker's gotta have the fucking, the goofy shit. I want him to be scary, like you and I are having a conversation right now, and I just have a pencil in my pocket, and I just start stabbing you in the thigh.
Jesus.
Going for your main
artery.
Yeah. Just psychotic.
The only part he was really goofy in was when he was dancing in the hospital with the kids and like the gun fell out. That was really the only thing where he was actually goofy.
But then that was him on the job.
Yep.
That wasn't him being like, I'm goofy.
Yep.
That was a Patch Adams moment.
Yep.
And I like that. Because it showed he's got a heart even though he's a fucked up dude.
Yep.
He's there to try to help kids. And I do like that he tried to play it off as it's a prop.
Yeah.
That I would have done the same thing. I'm like, it's a prop. The prop bullets. The prop gun. And prop gunpowder. I would have. Because at that point, you can't lie about it. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, where are we at right now for time?
Hour and 41 minutes.
All right. I mean, there's probably things we're missing in this topic, but for the most part, we talked about the things that we remembered that excited us.
It's not like we can't come back to it.
No, and I'm sure we will, because we will, because we always do the review if we see him in theaters, and then we do another review, like DVD-wise kind of deal. Because I'm excited to see what bonus features and shit we on the DVD.
For sure.
So
we gotta wait for that.
I don't even know. So we'll wrap it up, but before that we'll go around and we'll score it first. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Buck.
I'm gonna say 10.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go 10.
I'm going 10. That's a perfect 10 for this movie. And I'm going to quote it. I said it the other day. Me being a movie buff, which anybody that knows me should know it. I got movies here, there. Tons of them down here. Got tons of them in my other room. I've seen not almost every movie. I'm not going to sound like a douche. But I've seen a lot of movies. I have a lot of different tastes, a lot of different variants of what I think are good. That doesn't mean other people do. But this movie is unanimously good. So I honestly have to say this is out of every movie I've ever seen. And I'm thinking of like the real fucking dark shit that I can compare this to on that level. Like the movie Birdman, it's not dark, but have you seen that?
No.
Oh, fuck, what a psychological mess that is, but it's good. I think this is the single greatest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, I think.
Single greatest movie I have ever seen. Now, I'm not saying it's my favorite. Because, like, I love my Avenger movies. They're totally different spectrums.
Not even the same style.
Right. Those, again, they have depth to them. They have character build. But at the end of the day, they are a blockbuster popcorn flick. Mm-hmm. There is a message in there, you know, especially in Infinity War. When Thanos did the snap, I was so on board. Like, he's not a villain.
No,
I totally agree with his fucking thoughts, man.
Yep.
He's just a better version of what Hitler, essentially, you know. Hitler took it to the extreme and just, like...
did it the wrong way and totally, yeah.
Where...
Right, at least this was painless.
And not so much, like, the pain, but, like, he is doing it, like, just listen to what I have to say and you guys might understand. Where Hitler's just like... I don't care if you listen or not, I'm going to do it! You know what I mean? Essentially. Yep. Like, so... But this movie is a love letter to society. Right now, it's a perfect movie. It's a perfect movie. A masterpiece. I don't know if I've ever called a movie a masterpiece. I just bought True Grit last night, and on the back of it says Triumph, a true masterpiece. I'm like, I've seen this movie. I don't fucking remember nothing from it.
Those words get thrown around way too much.
Right. I'm pretty sure they said, it's a great movie. The Magnificent Seven's fantastic. Yeah. It's not a masterpiece. No. It's a great movie. I loved it.
This was a masterpiece.
This was a masterpiece. This was like one of those movies. I don't even know if it comes around once in a lifetime because I've been around 30 years now. This is the first time it's happened.
I'm 38. I've never seen a movie like this.
It's crazy.
It on so many levels, I've never seen a movie like this.
It touches every nerve. You said it earlier, it left no stone unturned. Yeah. I don't know if you were using it in this context, but it does. It leaves you thinking, which is great for a movie, other than just being like, dude, did you see the Hulk smash, dude? It's like, man, like, when he's laughing, holding his fucking face down, like, choking, you see the like pain on him that's uncomfortable. And not just uncomfortable for him or the black woman that said, don't talk to my kid, but uncomfortable for everybody else now around him.
I think one of the most uncomfortable scenes is when he's trying to do stand-up and he's laughing.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like...
You want him to stop. Yeah. You want to say, stop!
Yeah. And I like how they didn't show the crowd either. They had a couple little laughs, but they focused right on him the whole time.
Yep.
Well, I mean the one where they showed the girlfriend.
Yep.
You know, but
to let you
the
illusion of disbelief.
But I thought just focusing on him and not showing like uncomfortable crowd was the best way to do that.
I really enjoyed that movie a lot. I truly did.
And I couldn't tell if he thought he was doing good.
Oh, it was all in his head.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell the last joke he says on the De Niro show is, knock, knock, who's there? Your son dead on the doorsteps? Or something fucked up like that. And he thinks it's funny. But that's Joker. Like, I don't know. I guess that'll, like, wrap it up. I mean, Deadly Dave, you got anything you want to say?
Go see this fucking movie.
Go see this fucking movie. it doesn't really matter what you say, because just nobody fucking cares.
Oh, go fuck yourself then.
Whoa!
Jesus Christ.
You know what?
He's gonna fit in really well in this.
Put on a smiley face, little guy. Aw, little fella, you upset? Where you going?
Don't worry about it.
Where are you going?
Don't fucking worry about it.
Well, fuck him. He's leaving. So you fucking... Oh, what a dick. What an absolute dick.
You know what? Go fuck yourself.
Fuck you, man. Loser. Oh, that's Buck Barber, the dipshit, the little asshole. Oh, shit. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, shit.
This is my belt, you fucker.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What are you doing, man? Oh, fuck.
I'm out of here.
Oh. Well, I guess, the Joker movie's affected everybody.
Everybody's gone fucking nuts.
Everybody's going nuts. Well, I bet Ace Williams, he was something else. That's Deadly Dave, and we want to say thanks for joining us here on the Comic Wrestling Podcast. This was the Comic Shop. We are on iTunes and Apple Tunes.
Podcast.
Apple Podcasts. I don't know what just happened.
Fuck you, little bitch.
Oh!